Hi, I'm Heather, and today on Spirits Freedom Farm we are going to ferment some vegetables. Okay, today we are going to talk about fermenting some vegetables. I have talked to several friends who would love to add good probiotics, good bacteria, lactobacilli, to their guts because those are so good for our gut health, but they would like to do that without dairy. They either have dairy sensitivity or dairy allergy, and so milk, kefir, or yogurt are not good options for them. So what's something that you can do at home that's easy and is dairy-free? Fermented vegetables is a great option. Now for dairy-free you can also do kombucha or water kefir, but those require some maintenance and are a little more complex than doing fermented vegetables. But these are super easy, and you probably have almost all of the ingredients already at home. Now, what vegetables can you ferment? Well, the common ones, of course, that most people have heard of are cucumbers, as well as cabbage to make old-fashioned sauerkraut. But you can also do carrots and green beans, beets, turnips, radishes, all kinds of things, as well as fruits. Now, most vegetables only require a salt brine, and you need to make sure that you have the right proportions of salt to water for that in order to allow the good bacteria to grow, but prevent the bad things from growing. So if you do decide to do something sweeter, a sweeter vegetable or some sort of a ferment, like a bread and butter pickle that might have a sweetener added, or a fruit, those things are more susceptible to growing yeast, which would produce alcohol instead of allowing the lactobacilli to grow. So one of the things that you can do for those is to add a vegetable starter. But for the vegetables, you don't need to do that. You can. Now, some of the starters that you can use would be to add to your brine in the jar. You could add a little bit of whey from making yogurt or cheese. That's the clear liquid that comes up. Obviously, that is dairy. And so if you have a dairy sensitivity or allergy, that may not be the best choice for you. So you have a couple of other options. One would be using the brine that's already fermented from another batch, a previous batch of fermented vegetables. You can take a portion of that and add that into the jar of vegetables, your current batch. Another option would be a vegetable starter powder that you can buy and mix that up into and it just has the lactobacilli, and that allows those, gives those a good head start, allows those to get a head start on anything bad that might grow. So one of the things that we want to do is also to allow these to breathe. So you can see I've got these little rubber things, silicone actually is what they are, on the top of these jars. There are a couple of options that are great. I watched or read a blog post from someone who they tried, I think, 16 different kinds of vessels to ferment in. The very best option was an airlock, a multi-piece airlock, which produced the best the most number of lactobacilli with the least likelihood of mold or other bad guys getting in there. The second best was a jar with a gasket. So a jar with a regular lid and then the rubber gasket. That would allow, as the lactobacilli are reproducing, they're putting off carbon dioxide, so they are pushing the oxygen out, which is good because the oxygen would help the bad guys to grow. So they're pushing the oxygen out. This works very similarly to a gasket or an airlock, but slightly better, I think. It has a small hole in the top here, which allows the oxygen to be pushed out without it going back in, just like a rubber gasket or an airlock. But these are very simple, one piece, and not expensive or anything like that. And they've got two different brands here. They both work the same and very similarly. So I love these, and you can use rings that you already have, jars that you already have, and put those in there. Another common ingredient for the ferments is spices and things, so you can kind of mix those up to your taste. Now, another good option here we have is a book called The Idiot's Guide to Fermenting Foods, and it's got ferments for vegetables, fruits, meat, dairy, all kinds of lactobacilli infused foods here that are really good for your health, recipes, as well as understanding the process. And the woman that wrote this, Wardy Harmon, I really like her blog, and she's just a very nice Christian woman, and I really enjoy this book for a lot of reasons. But if you're interested in getting that and learning all about fermenting a variety of foods, there's an option. But today we are going to ferment, just to show how easy it is to ferment a lot of things. We've got here some Swiss chard stems, and you can do kale or spinach just as easily. We've stripped off all of the greens. We're going to use these in our dinner tonight in a frittata. We may have a little bit left over we can put in a salad. But we're going to do Swiss chard stems. So I took these just out of our garden, less than half an hour ago, trimmed off all the green, and we have these. Aren't these beautiful too? I thought these would make a very, very pretty pickle. Pink, red, yellow, green. So what I have in my jar here right now are a couple teaspoons of dill seed and a couple cloves of garlic chopped up. And we're going to add in just a little bit of lemon, a couple quarters of lemon here. And all of these Swiss chard stems, we're going to get those right into this jar. They've been cleaned of dirt. So you may be wondering, well, how do the bacteria grow if there aren't any in there? Well, that's what's nice, is they're already there. They just are naturally occurring on our foods on our vegetables and fruits. So we don't have to do that. We just provide a really good environment for them to grow well and reproduce. So that's what this brine does. So that's what we have here. The brine, a good proportion of salt to water is 3 tablespoons of fine salt to 4 cups of water. You can put that in some water on the stove and cool it off by adding more water to it, just to dissolve it faster if you don't want to just have it sit and wait to work. But salt to water, if you use a coarse salt, you'll need more than the 3 tablespoons. With salt, you want to make sure that you do not get anything that has ingredients other than salt. You don't want iodized salt. That will kill the good bacteria. You do not want any anti-caking or anything like that. Table salt's not a good choice, and if you can, get a good sea salt. They usually do not have additives. As well, they have additional nutrients, minerals in them that are good for you. So that's a really good choice. For water, you want to be careful of using tap water. Where you live, if you have chlorinated water, chlorine is added to water in order to kill the germs and bacteria that might be present. So if you put chlorinated water into your ferment, it will prevent any bacteria from growing and may even kill what's there. And we are trying to grow bacteria that just happen to be the good guys. So do not use chlorinated water. We recommend, and we use a Berkey water filter, and we'll put a link for you where you can get one of those. You can get filters that take out fluoride as well as chlorine, and they do take out all kinds of germs and some pharmaceuticals and heavy metals and things like that. There are a number of things that it takes out, and you can look on their site and see all that it does take out, but it helps produce a much healthier water than what just comes out of the tap, and they last forever. It's an investment, but worthwhile, because you can save money not only on your health and making your own foods, health long term, but also just taking your own water in your own glass or metal water bottle instead of buying plastic bottles everywhere you go. So, okay, so we take our brine, we add that right in with our spices and lemon and Swiss chard stems. One of the things you want to do is make sure you keep all of your vegetables under the brine, because anything that's sticking up, it gives mold a chance to grow, or any of those bad guys. So you can do, this is a pickle pebble, you can use this, you can use a different lid, you can use a smaller metal lid and put in there to hold things under the brine. You could also use one of those small jars, if you're using a wide mouth jar like this, one of those tiny little not even half pint, half of a half pint, so a half cup jar. They're only about this tall. You can stick that in there, but you only want to fill your jar to about about an inch from the top. Then you add this guy with the ring, and then keep this out of the sun. The sun is also sanitizing and will kill the germs, the bacteria, even the good guys. It is not discriminating against good or bad. So we'll keep this out of the sun. One thing you can do is throw a dark sock over top of this. If you have a dark sock that you're not using, just throw that up over the jar below the rim, and that'll help protect it from the sun. So if you would like to give some non-dairy healthy bacteria for your gut a try, here are some great options. Fermented vegetables, super easy and very delicious too. And you can adjust the recipes to your taste. So I hope you enjoy it. We will take these jars. I made this one 2 days ago, this one yesterday, and these 2 today. And we will leave them out for 3 to 7 days until they start to get very bubbly. This one's starting to get a little bit bubbly. But we'll leave them out, and then we will take the airlock off, the rubber airlock and the ring, and put on a storage cap and put those in the refrigerator. They will continue to ferment, but much more slowly in the refrigerator, and they will last a long time. So we can enjoy these for weeks. So if you give these a try, let me know, or if you've tried some, or you've been looking for a dairy-free option for adding some lactobacilli to your gut. Let me know. I'd love to hear what you like. Thank you so much.
Please visit the blog post linked in the video description below for more information about this video and the supplies used.